TMZ Live. Bad Bunny had apparently an unwanted guest or somebody in Puerto Rico during his concert tour, because there has been, according to a report, and it seems like a sound one, a credible death threat against him.
And you remember, he was his residency there was 31 shows, very successful, and a lot of people have touted how it changed the economy of Puerto Rico.
Millions and millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars. So incredibly successful. What we did not know is that at some point during this residency, he was dealing with this threat. And
it was an online threat.
But an online threat where the FBI, it was credible enough that the FBI reportedly got involved here.
Now, the guy who supposedly was making the threat, at least according to this report by an established journalist, was armed. And that set off alarm bells. And we don't know for how long this was going on, but this is a little bit of kind of the download on this.
El domingo había una situación, específicamente el último de la residencia, había un credible death threat. O sea, la alerta era mayor, porque había un sujeto en redes sociales escribiendo que iba a matar a Bad Bunny. O sea que estaban particularmente celosos y sigilosos de la seguridad en el Choli, porque había una creíble amenaza contra Bad Bunny. Después se dieron cuenta que era una persona que tenía serios issues, pero aparenta ser que la persona estaba armada y todo. Y además estaba el FBI, estaba el Departamento de Seguridad Pública, etcétera, etcétera.
So, this is the journalist.
Yeah.
Who seems to have a connection with Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Jay Fonseca used to work for Telemundo for like 11 years. Now he's an independent journalist. He's very well respected in Spanish news. We actually went back and listened to the whole interview. There were a few details in there that were interesting. It appears it happened on the last Sunday. So the last day of the tour is when they got the actual threat.
The last day?
The last day. So that was September 14th. He did a special encore concert on the 20th, which streamed on Amazon, and that was just like a special deal with Amazon that came last minute. But the actual last date of the tour was September 14th. That's when the threat came in. That's when everything happened. He also mentioned that Justice Sotomayor was in attendance. I don't know if she had her own protection.
Security, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so those additional
that also may explain
in line
the
with
FBI.
The FBI being in there, and also what we know Bad Bunny has said about why he did this residency in Puerto Rico, and that he didn't want to do shows here in the U.S.
We don't know if that's what triggered this person online, but it's true. I mean, he said, I don't want to do a show in the U.S. because ICE may come in and start arresting people who come to see my show.
Right.
And that was a little bit controversial.
Correct.
And
so you have that controversy.
I didn't know about Sotomayor. That's really
being there. Yeah, that ups the ante for the FBI.
I don't know if Supreme Court justices get federal security if they go anywhere.
It's very limited what they get. They can get security for sure, but if a Supreme Court justice is going somewhere where there is a known threat, the FBI can definitely step in and help and protect.
Okay.
Now, but see, the weird thing is, did the FBI get involved because you had somebody like Sotomayor and the threat was before that, or we're sure the threat came in right before the last show?
We don't know when exactly it came, but we know it was Sunday. That's what he reported.
But the threat could have come in long before that day.
He said it was Sunday.
Then it came in the same day.
It came in on that same day. It's possible that it came the day before, but he said it was that Sunday. We've been working with the newsroom. Ryan's been calling local authorities. We've been calling the FBI as well.
So so far no arrests that we know of.
No. Or no further information as of now.
Hi, my name is Ruby. I'm from Sacramento. And as a big Bad Bunny fan, I'm actually really relieved to hear he had these safety measures in place, especially at a federal level. I had friends who had their families there in attendance. He was safe. Obviously, my friends and family were safe. I'm assuming he had these safety measures to make sure everybody had a great time, especially putting all of this effort, energy into going to his concert in Puerto Rico. His fans were able to enjoy the concert. They had no idea what was going on. I know when I spoke to my friends and families, they had a wonderful time, had no idea what was happening. And I do think that speaks volumes about Bad Bunny, his professionalism, and especially his dedication to his fans. And that's probably why he's where he's now.
Yeah, it is interesting that he went forward and still had the show.
Yeah.
knowing they got this credible threat, but obviously having the security of the FBI there.
And we don't know.
Had to
There
be
may have been.
reassuring.
It may have gone beyond the FBI.
And it
too.
sounded like, yeah, from what Fonseca was saying, that they had other
Right.
law enforcement involved.
Yep.
So Jimmy Kimmel can celebrate the fact that his return
Huge.
was
As Trump
huge,
would
as
say.
someone would say.
Huge.
Huge.
Not at huge on so many levels. 6.2 million people watched.
The biggest audience in more than 10 years.
But here's the thing about it. 22% of the country didn't see it because it was blacked out by Nexstar and Sinclair. So it's a 10-year high without without 20% of the country.
Right.
That's huge.
This shows you how many people
Yeah.
are tuning in. So after the first night, you think there's some hangover on the second night, and maybe you take your foot off the gas a little bit. Nope. On his second night, Jimmy Kimmel continued going after President Trump and the FCC.
We are still not on the air on a number of ABC affiliates, including Seattle, Portland, Washington, D.C., Nashville, New Orleans, St. Louis, Salt Lake City, about 30 more. And if you are watching from one of those cities, please know that the person you are looking at right now is not me, okay? Right, Guillermo?
Right, Jimmy, that's right, yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. Thank God they're not preempting the new season of The Golden Bachelor because of this. The FCC might not like jokes about the president, but they are still very okay with Pop getting a in the jacuzzi. And I think we can all be very grateful for that.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's kind of Carson funny. And I mean, he's not.
That was not about well, it was about FCC.
I get it.
Yes.
I get it. But you know,
and
what
the
I'm
fact
saying.
he's addressing the fact that these stations, and the argument can be whether the Nexstar and Sinclair stations are keeping him off because of the FCC threat, or are they keeping him off because they just disagree with him?
Nexstar said yesterday that they are in talks with Disney about the possibility and the conditions under which they would bring Jimmy Kimmel back. I don't know what that means, but if they're talking, see, they want this merger to happen for sure,
Right.
but they also need their parent company.
Yeah.
So there's probably going to be pressure
I think
here.
the difference now is that he's telling jokes. These are actual jokes. What he did to get suspended just wasn't a joke. I don't care. You could describe it however you want to. It just wasn't a joke.
Whatever it was,
It wasn't a joke, though.
it wasn't a suspendable crime, Babcock.
I disagray.
Well, I mean,
I disagree.
You could say scoreboard. Disney did suspend
Yeah.
him, but you didn't say that.
Yeah.
There was
by the way,
a comment yesterday by somebody, bomb the UN. What do you think about that?
Said bomb the UN.
Jesse Waters said it.
I'd have to hear the context. I assume that
There's not a good
Jesse
context.
Waters is not saying actually asking to bomb the UN. I'm going to make the assumption.
Anyway, as we were
Right,
talking about
right.
free speech, one of Kimmel's guests last night, Ethan Hawke, came on and lauded Jimmy, as he sees it, becoming a hero of the First Amendment. This is going to be, I think this is going to happen a lot, at least for the next week, with
It'll
his
be
guests coming on.
Interesting to see the ratings.
The ratings are going to go down. They're not going to hold steady.
Of course, it's not going to be 6.
It's not going to be
100%.
6.2.
And also, if you're interested in the government quashing the First Amendment, we should talk about what happened with, as you say, YouTube is the future. All of those YouTube accounts that were shut down by Biden, actual government oversight.
By the
going
way,
back to COVID. We haven't said a single word about
hold on.
that.
No, actually, we did.
Actually,
we did.
I have.
We did
and
talk
I
about
agree
that.
with you. And didn't I say?
Absolute
Yeah, we did
nonsense.
talk about
say
that. What are you talking
that
about?
The
We
left is
absolutely
the
stood right
cause
here and
of the
talked about it.
overreaction. Now, come on, Babcock. Come on.
I didn't hear our conversation. We spent a lot of time on
Did we
car.
not-
Because that's the thing that's happening
Hold on.
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on.
No,
Did
just,
I-
they
did I
just
not
reinstated
say
the
to
account
you-
a day ago.
Did I
It's
not
just brand
say
new
to
news.
you and the room that the left started this?
Yeah, you said, cancel culture. Yeah, you did.
And
You
that's
said
what
that.
this is, what
Yeah.
Biden did on that.
It's so hard
Come on,
for you to just
Babcock.
go like, oh, yeah, you have a good point.
I got to
Like-
remember back what he said. It's hard to give him credit. I don't like to do it.
Jenna Mark, Miami, Florida. And Ethan Hawke walked on that stage with a CVS receipt looking document. It was actually meant to be a representation of that ACLU letter that he and 400 celebrities signed in support of Kimmel. This is no surprise. You know, Kimmel had Robert De Niro on Tuesday, and I think this is going to be a bit of a pattern where he brings on his celebrity pals to make light of the situation.
Yeah, celebrity pals who also have something to promote usually.
Yeah, it's celebrity pals.
It's still a talk show.
There's a bigger issue than celebrities here.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Well, Diddy is back in court throwing a Hail Mary before his sentencing, a week before his sentencing, and our guy was there. And Jacob, what happened?
All right, so I'm going to give you the play-by-play.
Be right back.
Well, Diddy is back in court throwing a Hail Mary before his sentencing, a week before his sentencing. We told you that he and his attorneys would be in court today in New York City, in federal court, arguing that the Mann Act convictions should be thrown out.
For various reasons, one of which they say is that the Mann Act shouldn't apply to somebody who brought somebody across state lines if they didn't have sex with the sex worker.
Interesting. I mean, on the surface, it sounds like a good argument, but we'll get to that in a moment. But actually, there was a moment in court today. Diddy obviously was there, but a lot of his family members showed up. And there was, after the hearing, an emotional moment where he actually got to speak to his family members. And Jacob Wasserman was in court for us.
Our guy?
Yep, our guy was there. And Jacob, what happened? What did Diddy have to say to his family?
All right, so I'm going to give you the play-by-play. So it ends, he's huddled up with his attorneys, and by the way, Diddy's wearing his full-on jumpsuit. We usually see him in a collar and in a nicer outfit. That wasn't the case today. He looked like a prisoner. And afterwards, he's talking with his attorneys, and he turns around to speak with his family. And keep in mind, his mom's there, all of his children are there, and more relatives too. He turns to them, and for about a minute to 2 minutes, goes on a very long speech, talking about just words of encouragement, saying, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all your support. You got to stay humble, stay strong. But then one of the more interesting things he said was, every minute, every hour, I get closer to coming to home. So it's an interesting perspective that he has just on the heels of his sentencing, which comes up next Friday.
So, Jacob, you know, I've got some recon on this. And my recon is that since the verdict, Diddy is having a tough time emotionally handling it. And what I found really interesting about what you said is he came in a jumpsuit. And one of the reasons I was talking to somebody about this might be that at least the trial for him was a diversion, that he could get out of jail. He could put a suit on or a sweater on. He would be in court. And now he's just an inmate and not knowing how long he's going to be there. I mean, look at this sketch. I mean, he's Santa Claus. He's
fully gray.
I'm told this is taking a toll on him. Did you get any, it's just interesting to me that you said he was wearing the jumpsuit. You getting any sense of that?
I'm sure you're right, but what he's always done every time he's come into court is put on a smile. And it's when things have gotten really low, he still comes out. He usually carries a self-help book with him. And I think this is part of maybe the lessons he's learning while reading these self-help books is, you know, just smile through the pain, maybe something along those lines.
What was the title of the book?
I don't have it off the top of my head.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But keep in mind, you know, his kids don't see him that often. I think just as a parent, when he sees his kids and the people who love him most, he doesn't want them to think that he's suffering. He wants them to think he's doing all right. So he comes, he blows kisses. He was chatting with his mom, told her she looked beautiful, blew her a kiss. Chatting with Justin, Christian, clearly very happy to see them. And it was honestly a pretty nice moment.
You were in court, and they were arguing that this conviction should just be thrown out based on, you know, the elements of the Mann Act and other issues too. How is the judge? The judge hasn't ruled yet, and he's going to issue a ruling at some point in the future. How was he receiving this? Could you get any read?
As usual, I think the judge was being incredibly even-keeled, and sometimes it felt like he was siding more with the prosecutors, other times more with the defense. An interesting analogy he made, referring to the Mann Act, that I thought was just a good way of summing it up. He gave the defense an example and said, so just to understand about your definition of prostitution, because that was a big point of contention. He's saying, for example, if a businessman takes out a client to a brothel, and the businessman pays a prostitute to have intercourse with a client, is that prostitution? To which the defense said no. So I thought that was a good way of kind of summing up their position on how they define prostitution.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is their argument. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think that's a long road to hoe for them, right?
Is that the right phrase you want to use?
Pardon the pun.
Would you like to rephrase, Counselor?
No, I wouldn't actually. Man, it puts it perfectly. It's a difficult argument to make, right? Because he allegedly, what he's been found guilty of is actually paying people to come across state lines in order to have sex with somebody else. You're still paying for the prostitution services. You're just not the person having sex with them. I don't think that's a material difference. I think it's a difference without a distinction without a difference.
Let's say you're right. Let's say you're right. Does it still have an impact on the judge's sentence where he says, yeah, it's a violation of law, but I kind of get the point? I mean, does it have an impact on the sentence?
You have to believe that he wasn't. It would be better for him if he could say, I had nothing to do with setting up these.
Or if I wasn't the one paying for it.
I didn't even know that this person coming in.
The act of prostitution is to pay for somebody for sexual services. Not necessarily that they have sex with you. He is the one that's,
that's not their argument.
Metaphorically writing the checks. And once you do that,
will it have an impact on sentencing?
It's interesting. Maybe the judge
because there was no proof of force, fraud, or coercion.
Yes.
So essentially, what the judge is left with is there was consensual sex between his girlfriend and the sex worker, and he watched. Yeah. Will that have an impact on sentencing?
I think it might. We're stuck with this situation, the judge is, where the judge has a lot of leeway, but at the same time, he's a first-time offender. He's never been convicted of this crime before. He's a first-time offender. It is something that was done with just he and his partner in the privacy of their own homes or hotels or wherever it was. I think there's a lot for the judge to hang his hat on, that this guy doesn't deserve a long-time sentence for these crimes, which in the modern day, I know they're frowned upon, I know they're illegal, but they're not looked down on with the same sort of puritanical look that I think we had about prostitution going back 50 years.
And again, this case was really supposed to be about sex trafficking and force.
It was.
And it didn't happen.
It was.
And so 5 years, the prosecution's asking
It seems like an awfully long time.
It seems like an awfully long time.
Hi, I'm Araya from Virginia, and honestly, after everything that we've seen throughout this entire trial, it might be a time for taking accountability on the actions that you've done. That's just bottom line it. There's no other way to describe it.
He's not saying I don't want to be held accountable. He's just saying it would be ridiculous for it to be 5 years. I mean, he wants to be let out.
He actually is saying, I don't want to be held accountable because they're asking to dismiss it.
This is a long shot. I don't see it happening.
Coming up.
David Otunga, everybody.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Oh my God, it's so good seeing you, man.
Hey, look at you. What is it, the gun show today?
Look at you.
Trying to show me up?
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm dying to know what you think of Hulk Hogan's legacy, because it's so complicated.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at.
David!
We have David Otunga.
Like, David and I go way back.
Way back.
David Otunga, everybody.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Oh my God, it's so good seeing you, man.
Hey, look at you. What is it, the gun show today?
Look at you.
Trying to show me up?
Oh my God, I gotta ask you, can I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm dying to know what you think. This guy's a big wrestler, he's amazing.
Well, thank you.
I want to know what you think of Hulk Hogan's legacy, because it's so complicated. I'm so interested. Do you guys talk about that in the podcast?
You took his question further. By the way, he's here doing a podcast.
But I'm dying to know what you think, because we had Mark Henry on our documentary.
Hulk Hogan documentary.
And it was really interesting about that. I want to know what you think. I'm really interested.
This is a tough question, because growing up, I idolized Hulk Hogan. That's what got me to start working out. I wanted to get 24-inch pythons, you know what I mean? When I met him in wrestling, it was a big deal. And I remember the first time I met him was outside of Gold's in Orlando. I just finished a workout. He came out, and the fact that he knew who I was, because he approached me, that was huge. And I'm a rookie in WWE, and Hulk Hogan knows me and told me that he saw a great future in me, yada, yada, yada. So I remember I called my mom like right after that. That meant so much to me because my mom and my dad used to take me when I was 6, 7 in Chicago to go see Hulk Hogan wrestle. And I was telling her, you know, my childhood hero knew who I was, came up to me, told me he saw a great future for me. And like that was a major moment in my life. We'll fast forward to when, you know, that audio came out and I was devastated. And I remember finding out because somebody from the office from WWE had called me. They were like, hey, you know, we just want to make sure we're addressing this. And I'm like, wait, I didn't even know what they were talking about. And that's how I found out about it. Like, okay, let me go listen to this. And man, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It really was. And then the next time I saw him after that, it was strange because we always had a good relationship. And I remember I saw him coming down the hall and I could tell he saw me. And I remember looking at him and he seemed nervous. And so when he came up, he was. And, you know, just shook his hand. And we didn't really say much, but he said everything. He was brief, but, you know, kind of just had his head down, like in shame a little bit. But I don't know. It was one of those things where it was still respect.
Right.
And so the way I look at his legacy is obviously, you know, what he said is reprehensible. And, you know, who he is as a man is one thing. But for me, the character Hulk Hogan and what he represented and as a symbol is so much. It was so powerful for me and, you know, shaped a lot of my life. That's why I became a professional wrestler. So I choose to remember that and, you know, how positive that was. My interactions with him were always positive, but I mean, I can't ignore, you know, what I heard.
Yeah.
I had the same experience by going. I mean, obviously the 24-inch pythons thing didn't work out for me, but I did go see him as, you know, when I was probably like 12 or 13, went to go see him wrestle, and I thought the character was this incredible guy, you know?
What's the consensus in the wrestling world on this? Is it yours? Is it because when we did our documentary, there were a lot of people who absolutely would not forgive him, and other people who said that's not who he is, and then there were people in the middle.
It's tough. I think it's kind of generational. Like people my age and older, they remember him and they still think of him positively. So for the most part, it's positive. But it's kind of the younger generation and the kids who just know him from that audio clip. And then also, you know, we got to put race in there too. Like a lot of the black wrestlers, I mean, we're not going to sweep this under the rug.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of them, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but, you know, as a man, you know, I can't, but the character, I'll always love the character.
It's probably not a consensus, right? Because everyone's going to come at it differently.
Yeah.
You have a big history with John Cena, and he's retiring.
Yes, he is.
That's a big deal.
I have a huge history with him. In fact, he was my tag team partner. People don't know that. John Cena was a tag team champion, and I remember we won the match. I had to do all the work. And then, of course, I handed him his title belt. And what does he do? Hits me with the AA. His finishing move after that. Ungrateful, had me do everything.
So good riddance.
Good riddance to him. However, like I've been saying, he can't leave yet because I was a part of the biggest faction, or the greatest faction in WWE history, the Nexus. And I mean, we changed the landscape, and we should have won at SummerSlam, but we didn't because of John Cena. So before he rides off as the Peacemaker, he's got a receipt coming.
We should say that the reason David is here is because he's about to do our podcast. You guys, this is your promote your podcast.
Yeah, no, TMZ's Inside the Ring. We're about 2 months in now.
Yeah, month and a half.
We've had some great guests so far, and when we knew David was in LA, we had to call him up.
David's great.
You know? David's great.
Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having
Really
me.
appreciate
Good to
it.
see
Have
you.
fun in the podcast.
Good to see you.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Coming up.
Serena Williams is in New York City. She went to the big Nike Skims event, but at her hotel, she saw something that had been added to the decor of this hotel, but it was very upsetting to her.
Be right back.
Serena Williams is in New York City. She went to the big Nike Skims event that Kim Kardashian and Nike held last night.
Yep.
But I'm sure she had a good time at the event. At her hotel, not so much. As she was walking through the halls, she saw something that had been added to the decor of this hotel. She didn't say the name of the hotel, but it was very upsetting to her. So this is what Serena posted as she was in this hotel hallway. This is what she's upset about.
All right, everyone, how do we feel about cotton as decoration? Personally, for me, it doesn't feel great. So actually, it feels like no polish remover cotton, natural.
Is that all you can say?
This is interesting. This is interesting.
So wait a minute.
The fact that you are even, and I'm not saying this to like poke at you, but the fact that you're sort of pondering what it is.
No,
that's
I know
upsetting
exactly
her,
what you.
when I know.
I know exactly what she's saying. Right. That picking cotton is a slave reference, and
well, having the cotton plant there.
No, I understand that. I understand that. I'm just. My wasn't that I didn't understand her objection. Right. I just didn't know it went that far, that an ornament like that.
I think what she's
and I'm being
saying-
honest with you.
I think what she's saying
I totally
is
got
to
the reference.
see the plant as a decoration. It is for.
It's celebratory of something
It's
that
not even
shouldn't
that it's
be.
celebratory. It's reminiscent.
Very much so.
that's,
And it's 2025. Why do you need to even have a decorative cotton on the stem where it looks just like it came from a plantation on your hotel? For what reason? You couldn't put a vase?
Yeah, and I think what would happen is you would walk, and this again, we're going to be honest
you
here.
kind of are.
No,
But
you
it's-
would walk by that and not even see it.
100%.
Right?
Exactly.
And I
I'm
would
being
walk by
honest.
it,
I know.
just like Serena did, and I would go like,
What the heck?
ooh.
Like,
And I think that's just the
distasteful.
reality of life in America, that
You see things
people-
differently than black
black
people
people
and
see
the
things
black
differently
community.
than white
As soon as
people.
I saw her objection, you didn't have to explain to me what it was. I got it.
Right.
I just didn't know.
But the fact that you sat here and said if you walked past it in a hotel, you wouldn't think twice about it.
I wouldn't make the association without seeing somebody
And it's the
reacting
first
that way.
association I would
I'm
make.
just
You
being
get her
honest.
reaction.
And
I'm just being honest.
It's the first thing I would make. I would walk past it and be like, 2025? Really?
But wait. Do you think whoever did it in any look, maybe they did.
We kind of just had
I
this
don't know.
conversation with the Sheen and the Louis. Do you think that they knew it and did it on purpose and didn't care, or do you think that they just thought, oh, this is very nice and decorative, and then just put it on
I
there?
get it. I just don't know that the person who did it, you would ascribe that to them.
I don't know. I have
Yeah,
no
we
idea.
can't-
Don't know whose design it was, whose idea it was. Pointing out, I think it's
looks
very
really
interesting that that's something that we all have to realize, is that we all are different and we all see things, and there are things that you'll walk by and I would just be like, right, no big deal, and you would go, wow, why would they do that?
But as soon as I saw her say, ooh,
Right.
I got it.
Hi, Soleil from New York here. And honestly, I agree with you guys' take on the perception of it. But at the end of the day, it is a decoration and it's a cheap decoration. So from the hotel's point of view, I feel like they just put it there just to give it ambiance. But ultimately, if it offends someone, just take it down. Because yes, absolutely. As a Black person's perspective, from a Black person's perspective, this does seem kind of offensive because, look at the history behind it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that not everybody thinks of that history.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
that doesn't mean that they were doing it intentionally to offend someone, but the reality is there are a lot of people who would be offended.
I get it.
Well, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, who, by the way, when's the last time that we
knew the name?
That anybody even knew who the FCC Chairman is?
Name 3 Supreme Court justices. Now name the chairman of the FCC.
Exactly. But the fact that we know his name points to all the controversy around Jimmy Kimmel and the threat that was issued. So guess what? He's got a starring role on another show other than Jimmy Kimmel.
A huge show.
South Park.
Yeah.
Decided that they were going to, and I would guess that this was their way of showing support for Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
They made Brendan Carr the focus of last night's episode. He is not going to be pleased by this because in the episode he is suffering a horrific disease, and how he got it is the really insulting and disgusting.
Mr. Carr, can you hear me? We understand you're head of the FCC, is that correct? All right, well, I'm very sorry, but you do appear to have toxoplasmosis from exposure to cat feces. We need you to get some rest. Try not to move.
Will the head of the FCC be okay, Doctor?
His bones are healing, so he may regain full range of motion, but If the toxoplasmosis parasite gets to his brain, I'm afraid he may lose his freedom of speech.
It is kind of funny, I gotta say.
It didn't land on me as funny as I
know, but it's.
I look. Listen. You
quick turnaround.
You take a quick turnaround. You take a swing. Sometimes they're hilarious, and sometimes it's not. By the way,
it wasn't as funny as Trump in bed with Kim Jong-un.
Here's the funniest part of the skit. Ray, can we go back to the wide shot? Did you notice that we had to censor? See the black bar is there?
Yeah.
You know why they had to be censored?
No.
Because he had pooped himself. which on the episode, now that would be
makes
funny.
it funnier.
But we had to take that part out, because of the FCC.
He ain't going to cancel. He's not going to cancel South Park. South Park just made a $1 billion deal
because it's a popular show.
Yeah,
right.
But that doesn't mean
their merger's
nobody
done.
cares if you cancel Jimmy Kimmel.
No. It's a show can go off the air for bad ratings. Yeah, shouldn't go off because the government says it should go off.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree. I've been saying that.
What?
I've been saying that.
So you disagree with what?
I disagree with the premise that the FCC was the one who took him off the air. I'm telling you that it was blowback from people who said we're not going to watch the show anymore, and ABC, because of that, knew Jimmy Kimmel was going to double down.
Just help me out on one thing.
Yeah.
Just
Wait,
explain.
did he agree with you?
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
So
by the way,
I just need you to explain something to me. What does it mean when you? Because when you say we'll do it the easy way or the hard way, what does that mean? I don't understand.
It's a little thready. Yeah, I could have done without him saying that.
Stand over. You got to stand over a little bit more. What do we do? The easy way, or the hard way? It's like that.
They should have never said that. It was the stupidest thing. They should have let the market take care of himself.
Why do you think they said it?
Because sometimes they make stupid mistakes,
and
unenforced errors.
Was it coincidental that the decision came hours after that statement?
I really believe that I will give you that it may have played some role in the decision. I don't think it was mostly about that. If he was doing 10 million people, if he was doing 6 million people a night watching, that show's not canceled.
So why did the show come back if you were out?
Because they said they wanted to let the tensions die down a little bit, and
But if the ratings were bad, why would they bring it back?
That's a good point.
What's the answer?
That's a great point.
But that's your point.
But
So
that the blowback was more harmful to them than keeping the show off the air. They pay him a lot. Not a lot of people watch.
But blowback.
There was a lot of blowback. Well,
blowback doesn't pay the bills.
No, I know, but the stock took a big hit. People were canceling their subscriptions, and Disney was really hurt. ABC was really hurt.
So it sounds like a lot of people like Kimmel.
Well, a lot of people hate Donald Trump, so I think that
he might have.
But he's president.
He might have you there.
Right? I don't think it's a thing. You think 6 million people all of a sudden decide they like Jimmy Kimmel? No.
Well, are we a debate club?
I don't know.
By the way, I want to say what you two are really doing is you're really driving crazy. Melissa, who's on camera here, because we're doing a live stream right now. So you probably shouldn't have the live stream up on your monitor.
I like to read the hate.
Melissa's moving, trying to keep that monitor out of it, so we're not feeding back. So there's
I'm like a masochist. I like to read the hate.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Christopher Stats from LA, California. And as per usual, Trey Parker and Matt Stone brilliantly displayed exactly the buffoonery of a character like Brendan Carr. And this can clearly be interpreted as, the FCC being weaponized by the president. And the damage that censorship is doing to free speech. We've seen it with Kimmel, and over the past decade, we've seen the left and the right do it to each other using the First Amendment to further their own political agendas.
Yeah, well, sadly, that's true.
Coming up.
So we have uncovered something very interesting about the singer David and this search to find the killer of Celeste Rivas. And we have been saying all along that we don't know really what the nature of their relationship was.
So Devin and I spoke to some people in the scene who basically told us that they thought that Celeste was 19 years old.
Be right back.
So we have uncovered something very interesting about the singer David and this search to find the killer of Celeste Rivas,
the 14-year-old girl found in the trunk of his Tesla.
Right. And we have been saying all along that we don't know really what the nature of their relationship was. Obviously, they knew each other, they hung out, but we didn't know if it was a romantic relationship. We've spoken to people
in the music business who partied with David, hung out with David, and there seems to be a consensus that people believed that David and Celeste were boyfriend, girlfriend.
I found this super interesting. So Devin and I spoke to some people in the scene who basically told us that they thought that Celeste was 19 years old. And they went as far as saying that they thought she was a student at USC. And when the news came out that she was only a 14-year-old child, they could not believe that because she also presented herself very maturely. They didn't really question it because of like the places that she was seen at would require somebody to be of age, older than 18.
So like essentially people in this scene knew that they were together. They knew, oh, that Celeste girl is with David or whatever. They'd go to like, venues, these different parties after recording sessions. But like Charlie said, no one even thought that she was underage until it came out. Obviously, when they released that the age was only 14 years old, people were just like, this is insane that girl was 14.
But they all thought that they were together.
Well, totally,
Yeah.
and also
And they were together.
And also,
They were at
these
these things
people
together.
were talking about the fact that
Yeah.
like clearly people knew or thought that she was older because no one would want to be associated or in photos with a minor, like some weird situation like that. You wouldn't want that at your party.
Wouldn't have taken the photos. Did any of them say that they had actually seen her present ID at any point, like at any?
The people we talked to
Didn't know.
but they did say a lot. Some of these places you would have to be 18.
And
to
we
be,
have already.
But also, they might not have.
We
asked.
already
David
have.
walked in, they're like, oh, she's
We've
gonna-
done We've done the story.
Yeah.
That our law enforcement sources say she had multiple fake IDs.
which like we said makes
No,
sense.
I know. That's
because
why I
if
was
she's-
asking.
If she's trying to
presented them.
That's why I was asking if they had actually seen her
the
present them. I know
people
she
we
had
spoke
them.
to had not seen that.
Right.
And also the thing about her that I thought that was interesting was, I mean, you see all these photos and videos of people saying this is Celeste with the pulled over hoodie and stuff. So it would be kind of like hard to even really tell if someone was super young, if they have a hoodie pulled over.
They were all shocked. Now the other thing is just their view of David, that he was this kind of mild-mannered.
Yeah, people are just shocked that he would be connected to this tragedy in any kind of way.
And we should say that he is.
The only connection at this point
is his car.
Is his car.
Yeah, it was his car that the remains were found in. But for the people that we spoke to, they said he was just very quiet, very timid.
Gentle
was how he was described. Yeah. And obviously how horrific what happened to this girl. They're just, people we are talking to are just like, they can't even wrap their mind around him being involved in any way with a horrific crime like this.
Yeah, so, again, we've seen all of these videos with the two of them together, but now people are saying, well, they kind of presented as boyfriend, girlfriend. And that's going to be relevant. I mean, that's going to be relevant in just figuring out what happened here and when it happened. And that's still the big mystery. When did Celeste Rivas die? And we just don't have an answer to that, at least right now.
Coming up.
Rihanna and A$AP Rocky have baby number 3. The name is interesting. They've had 2 boys, They had Riot and RZA. And now...
It's got to be an R, right?
They got to stick with the R.
Right.
Rico. They did.
Rico.
Not Rico.
Be right back.
Well, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky have baby number 3. Actually, we found out that the baby was born on the 13th of September. So they kept it under wraps for
a week.
A little more than a week. Yeah. But the name is interesting. So they have a girl. They've had 2 boys, They had
Riot
and RZA. And now...
It's got to be an R, right?
They got to stick with the R.
Right.
You got to stick with the theme.
Right.
They did.
Rico.
Rico, not Rico. That would have been interesting.
My favorite name.
Not great for a girl, Rico.
It could be good for
Well, they went Rocky, which you also might say is not typically a girl's name, but
Wait a minute,
they
what?
did it with an I.
Basically,
they got
they named it
RZA,
after...
Riot. and Rocky.
So they named the girl, they have two boys, and now they named the girl after dad.
Kind of after dad, yeah.
I love that they did that. I think that's such a sweet way to commemorate. And also, like, girls having guys' names is also just cute in general. And I know, like, A$AP kind of hinted that it was a girl accidentally, kind of slipped up.
That's right,
people
at the Met Gala, right?
Yeah, people thought it might have been twins, too, because he said they. So it was unclear, but it's so exciting that it's a girl. And the little boxing gloves.
What's her middle name? Irish.
Irish.
Right?
Yeah,
Irish.
not really sure where Irish comes from.
It should have been Rocky Joe.
What? That's my middle name.
J.O. Rocky J.O.?
Yeah, that's my middle name.
Well, but
So I agree with you.
for different reasons. For different reasons.
You just love my
Joe
middle name.
Tacopina is the one who won the case.
Right.
I think it's an homage to
I mean,
Joe.
I love
Well,
Joe,
Rihanna
but
also
Joe got paid.
supported him.
Yeah. I'm sure Joe was paid very handsomely for his services.
I'm sure that's true.
They don't have to name a kid after.
That's fair.
Hi, I'm T-Rex from Gulf Shores, Alabama, and I want to comment on Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby. Congratulations having a baby born in LA. You call it LA Rocky, Rocky LA. Just a cool nickname you can give, but it's always great to bring new life into this world, and so grateful for them.
Yeah, this is good stuff. It is good stuff. What else you guys want to talk about?
Hey everybody, it's Denisha Valentine based out of Orlando, Florida. And here's what I think when it comes to Diddy. I honestly feel like there is not a sufficient amount of evidence to convict him under the Mann Act. And I think that out of the 5 charges, he's only been convicted of 2. So I think at this point, when October 3rd comes, I think Diddy either deserves to be acquitted or he deserves a retrial, in my opinion. That's what I think.
Well, that ship has sailed. He's been convicted on the Mann Act.
Will be made, though.
Been convicted. They're trying to throw the conviction out, but he has been convicted. What's happening on October 3rd is the sentence, and that's what everyone's waiting for. One more.
Hi, my name is Courtney, and I'm calling from Florida, and I'm here to talk about the David situation. I think this whole David and Celeste situation is spiraling out of control, and it's really all over the place. We don't know if it's coming or going at this moment. All we know, we need answers now, and we need them ASAP.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not always a good idea, because sometimes when the police act too quickly, it screws everything up. They are definitely on this case. I'm telling you, you smell it and feel it with the way LAPD is working. And we don't know where they're going to go on this thing. So to be continued, but don't rush it.
Coming up.
So date night for Sydney Sweeney. We say her new guy?
Definitely her new guy.
Scooter Braun. We now have them spotted out having a little pizza.
Be right back.
So date night for Sydney Sweeney. We say her new guy?
Definitely her new guy.
Scooter Braun. And I guess we haven't seen them out and about together. We know that they've been dating since the
Bezos wedding. I mean, shortly after the Bezos wedding.
We now have them spotted out having a little pizza. I'm assuming they had pizza.
No. John and Vinny's has other stuff.
They have
too.
other stuff,
No.
but if you go to John and Vinny's and you don't have pizza, why are you even there?
There's good stuff at John and Vinny's.
I know. You can have the other stuff, you gotta have pizza.
Anyway, Sydney Sweeney is there with Scooter Braun. They've been dating. This is not, I know that initially we were told, just kind of casual, this and that. They're really dating. And you can get way more than pizza at John and Vinny's. You should all know
But you should definitely have the pizza. And then have the way more as well.
And we won't say another word about them unless they pay us. And we will see you tomorrow.